Yes, 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 yes. Wagwan, Wagwan, Roots Reggae Hub family. It's your sister, Lady Sharon, and I'm here today with a fantastic guest. We're going to talk Black food sovereignty today with Anan Zola Lololi. And as we wait for him to join, I'm going to start to go right into his bio as we run the track. Actually, let's run the track, Sheena. Yes. Welcome, welcome. And we're going to make sure that we have Anan on the live. We're waiting for Anan Loli. And today we're going to be talking about Black food sovereignty. What does that look like to you and me? Welcome, you like Black. Welcome the Real Skin. Welcome Chicago. Big up yourself. Okay, let's try to do this. Okay, and we are waiting for Anan. Welcome, Seth. Unable to join. In the meantime, between time, let's do some housekeeping. Yes, it's a wellness. Oh, we're getting a call from Anan, so just bear with me one moment here. Greetings, Anan. We're getting a call here. So I'm inviting you, but it's saying that you're unable to join. So are you doing it from the computer? You said you would have to do it from your phone or a tablet. Okay, as we wait for the man of the hour, Anan Zola Lololi, big up yourself. So he will soon be joining us. Sometimes, with like Facebook. I think you could join on Facebook, Shayna, via. Can you go live on Facebook via computer? I wonder. But it seems not to be working with the IG. So as we await for Zola, let me just invite him one more time. And I call him Zola. He's known to many as Anan. And I'm just going to start to tell you just a little bit about Anan Zola Loli as we wait, because there's so much to learn about him and hear about him. Welcome, Judea. Anan Zola Loli is a food sovereignty and food justice advocate, musician, and vegan for over 44 years. Anan is one of the founders of African Food Basket. Okay, we have him here just joining in, and we'll get him in there. Let's get him in the live. He's on the live, so let's get him. And he's accepted. Okay. Shayna, somebody's not responding to my touch. I'm touching the, oh, it's saying I can't. Okay, one moment, Zola. Just bear with us a moment here. It's giving us a little challenge. There we go. Wonderful. Oh, and I'm tall today. I could take off one of the chairs. There we go. Greetings, Zola.
Greetings, Empress Sharon.
Yes, he's dubbed me Empress and not Lady Sharon. So
You take away the lady as Empress.
transition.
Yes. Give
And
you
as
the
I just,
new title, new year,
yes, I hear you.
boss farmer.
Walking Priestley,
That's right.
characters, And I'm just going to continue to read your bio because there's so much about you. And I'm so inspired. When I received this bio, I was like blown away. So I'm going to just pull up as we do it, on the Roots Reggae Hub. You don't know. It's like oh gosh, it's Empress Lady Sharon with Anan Zola Lololi. Anan Zola Lololi is a food sovereignty and food justice advocate, musician, and vegan of 44 years. Anan is one of the founders of African Food Basket, a nonprofit food justice and food sovereignty organization that began in 1995. He has been the executive director of African Food Basket from 1995 to 2021. For 26 years promoting community food security, food sovereignty, and food justice in Toronto, North America, and the Caribbean. Anan has his master's degree in environmental studies from York University with a focus on community food security and a diploma in business administration from Centennial College. Anan is presently Research Associate Fellow at Ryerson University and Chair of Black Food Sovereignty Working Group. His passion is working in low-income communities to create food security. He has an executive and founder member of the Growing Food and Justice for All initiative-based Milwaukee, was an executive and founder member of the Community Food Security Coalition of North America, Outreach and Diversity Community Board member of the Toronto Food Policy Council, past chair of Secure Canada Diversity Working Group, administrative and food policy consultant of the Detroit Black Community Food Security Network, past committee member of Region Conservation Authority, Humber Watershed Alliance, and was the food policy and urban agriculture consultant for FoodShare. Anan has also been, since 2018, has managed African Food Basket program. The Food Black Sovereignty Initiative Toronto has been the chair of the Black Food Sovereignty Initiative of that time. He is a food sovereignty community consultant with the City of Toronto confronting anti-Black racism. And there is just so much more that I am so inspired and just moved beyond myself to just be amongst you. I have been amidst you and on the music scene, on the Rastafest scene. And then most recently, I had the desire to learn how to do organic farming. And I'm wearing the hat that I joined you all with. And Anan, I just want to welcome you and thank you for all that you have done. And I mean, I really want to read to the end of this. Do you mind, listeners?
Take your time. We could go through it over a period of time. I like to give thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Give thanks for being here with you, Empress Sharon. Pick up yourself, Carl Brown. I see you in the audience, large. And I know you tried at the farm with Empress Sharon.
Yes.
I like to give thanks to the Almighty for being here. I like to give thanks for my ancestors for being here to have this conversation with you today. Very important because those are the shoulders that I stand on, and there's so much people I have to give thanks for. But most importantly, I have to give thanks to my mother who inspired me to do this work in humbleness. I like to call her my God angel because to me that was what she was. So lots of strong women who I got a chance to be associated with me, to guide me in the work I do. Also brothers, but I really give thanks for the power of the sisters, especially the work of the African Food Basket was always a good strength. And what I'm saying now is I'd like to see more brothers step up in this farming and in this food systems work.
Okay, amen. That was power. That was power. Enough respect. Enough respect to your mom, Ashe. And you know, as a farmer, I want to know. Can you recall? I want to get to know you, Zola, because we just read out a whole thing, but I'm going to get to know you. But I want to know. Can you recall when you first planted your seed, your first seed, and
Well,
what was that seed? Do
well,
you
to tell the
recall?
truth, it gotta be in Ghana what we call Bora, because I'm originally from the north coast of the Amazon, this beautiful place called Guyana. And I'm here for over 40 years right now. I think I came here around 1997. But in planting, I like to really call on someone who really inspired me in many ways. Planting food in the earth is just one of them. There's my brother Iwata.
I want to.
He's a man as youths, early age 5, 6, 7. He always planting, and although he was a known italist, used to mind chickens as a youth man, but
Okay.
used to plant bora on the fence. We had a wire fence, and he used to plant. I used to see plant at the side of the house, so I would see planting because we were 2 or 3 years apart. You know what I mean? And everything he do, I do, because that was my brethren from time. You know.
Yeah.
Almighty King Selassie rest his soul. So I started looking at him from those days. So my planting days started early. But getting to be a teenager and in Guyana, I grew up in a period where I think that's my best period as a youngster. It was a socialist country where growing food was part of the national motto. They had a motto called feed, clothe, and house yourself. And I can tell you something, that was a sight to see. People used to grow food all over the place, all in the carpet, going to the road. Sometimes you stop at the car, you stop at the intersection, and you can't see what's coming from the other side. Because people got corn and cane and pigeon peas, and it was a real serious time. And to tell the truth, that was really people rising up, and that motivated me to start planting. Now, my 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 ex queen in Toronto here, she also planted backyard gardens. When I met her, I
Yes.
realized she planted in her backyard, and that is what really gave me the bug to start planting food in Toronto. So
Okay.
we used to live in a famous gates called 17 Marchmont Road, and that place is where I was more into the music time with my band Truths and Rights.
Road Sunrise. We were playing a little bit of that at the beginning, right? You sent me some music.
I sent you some music, yeah.
Yes, we're gonna run that.
And at that house now, we plant food in the backyard. So so everywhere I got a chance to live in Toronto, I got the bug and I started planting food. And coming from Ghana with that energy about people planting and self-sufficiency,
Yes.
I played music for a number of years in the 80s, and then latter part of the 80s, I went back home to Guyana. Myself and Iwata, we say, you know what, going back to the Amazon and get some real Ita liberty, hills and valleys. And going to Guyana, I grew up in the city of Georgetown.
Oh,
And as a town person,
yeah.
but
Surprising.
when I went back to Guyana now, I wanted my son to really get the experience of country life and myself getting some country life. So we're going to live in the country. And an uncle of mine, he had a property and he allowed us to live in the house. And man, this yard had like 12 mango tree, coconut tree, guinea tree, dongs tree. Is full of
What
fruit.
tree? What was the other one?
Dongs. I don't know if you're familiar with dongs. It's a fruit that you don't see around the place, but all different kinds of variety.
I know, Wara.
Ghana would know what's donks, you know.
Wow. I gotta try that when I go back.
Yes, and we used to have a whole yard planted of vegetables, different farm of vegetables, and because we had coconut, we usually use a lot of dry coconut, and then time there, you know, from even before I left Guyana, I was an italist.
Okay, you
I'm,
are an italist.
I'm one is
So you're not a pescatarian, you're italist.
a street ital, strictly ital,
What?
you know. the Hillsman kind of ital, you know, everything. And to tell the truth, my work with the African food basket, being a italist and following the Rastafari tradition of sipping natural foods, that really inspired my work with the African food basket.
Yes, and this is the beautiful thing about African food basket. It's you got culturally sensitive food available to the community. You're giving them access to that. You're growing it, you're serving it. You're like it's beautiful. The work that you've been doing.
That's right. The full works, you know. So from the early age, I started planting food, and when I come back from Ghana, I went to school. I studied business at Centennial College. I did a business program and studied business management. And when I come out, my idea was to start an ITAL restaurant.
Okay.
ITAL restaurant, and of now, I was just want to start a marijuana dispensary. So it's being
what year was that? When was that?
that was 1995.
See, ahead of the time, the dispensary was not from time.
Yeah, that's right, from time. Because as a musician, you know what I mean? Like I had the dispensary since the 80s. I had a dispensary at my 17 March month. So
I hear you. I hear you.
Rastafari was doing this. This Rastafari bring this whole fullness to this country.
You don't know.
When they have a legalization of marijuana in this country, they got no other people more than Rastafari who influence. Yes. Okay, the legalization. We show them as a nation that this thing don't get you mad. This thing is just healthy for you.
Yeah,
don't give it props, you know.
I also want them to decriminalize it as well, because when you add a legal component to it, I want it to be like a bag of milk. If you need milk, it's medicine. You know what I mean? You go get that. It should not be even. You know what I mean? But psycho.
And pressure around soon come. Everything in time. You know, we can get it. Everything in time.
And you bring up, like, going into Guyana, like the motto of Guyana in terms of doing for self and the farming, because I mean, I'm, as you know, I'm half Guyanese. My mother is Guyanese, and I love to go to Guyana. That is where I will be soon. God's grace, and so we farm there, and then what I like about your let's say the African food basket, going down to Black Creek Farm. Finding Black Creek Farm was because it was Canada's largest urban organic farm.
Yeah.
And we had brought our young girls of destiny, to do some farming and learn about organic farming. And just to know that people like yourself were involved. I didn't meet you then at the time, but people like yourself were involved, and knowing that the grassroots is the Black community, the African community of the Black Creek Farm, just to see the practices of Guyana that you brought here as well, because those organic practices, they're using dry leaf, they're using all these different things for fertilization. It's beyond organic. We're using rainwater, collecting water. It's always rain. It's rain.
That's right. Natural element. But let me get the fullness of the Black Creek Farm. Okay. When we started the African Food Basket in 1995, the idea was to make sure people of African descent, Black folks in the city, could purchase food at a reasonable price. So it was what we call a non-profit cooperative food buying club, whereby you purchase a basket for $25, and there's like a share every month, and you get a basket of food. Some people used to pay for the whole year. Some people used to pay for a couple of months. And we would get volunteers, we'd pack this basket, because as Black people, we eat the most expensive food.
The best food. We are the best.
Best food as the most expensive too. And the thing about it, we the people most in poverty. So that is an issue. You know what I mean?
But we have a right to have the best food, real food.
We have a right, but also we have a right to have money to buy the food.
Yes.
Okay? And I can talk a little bit more about that later. But there's a lot of us who live in low-income communities, so it's hard to buy good food. But anyway, so we started the food buying club, and then the next year, I got some knowledge from some wise people. we had a session called Roots to Fruits, where we set out the direction where the African food basket need to go. We was just the what you call it, the impetus to get it going. So you had people like Nene Kofeli, you have Tafari, you have Winston Husbands, okay, and my urban agriculture mentor, a brother from Ghana. His name is Solomon Boye. And we set that focus of growing food that ecologically safe, and growing food African-centered perspective. I mean, we're growing food with the foundation being of people of African descent, where they come from diaspora or where they come from continental Africa. You know what I mean? It's not a Caribbean thing. It's a people of African descent thing. All of us. Like Marcus Garvey said, you know what I mean? Africa for the Africans at home and abroad.
Yes.
So we started, and then we started doing community gardens. But the Black Creek Farm now, because we do a lot of work with a lot of young people around Jane and Finch, we see this piece of land and we identify and say, you know what, we need to get a land to engage Black youths. Because at that time, it was Bloods and Crips, and these youths was killing each other, and said, you know what, we got to make sure we have an intervention. So we negotiate to have access to that land with Toronto Regional Conservation Authority in the city, and we got access to the land. And what was established here was the Black Creek Urban Farm, not the Black Creek Community Farm, the Black Creek Urban Farm. So it was the city was there, Parks and Rec, and the African Food Basket. And sometimes we engage 20, 25 youths who able in the summer, we learn them about food security and how to grow food, and they would come on the farm. And that was the beginning of the Black Creek Community Farm. Your time at the Black Creek Farm, you were African Food Basket, you jam a farm at Black Creek. Because there's two farms at residence.
That's right. You kept on correcting me.
I want farm. Because sometimes historically people get it wrong, and you know, the African Food Basket is going to be legendary in Canada because we're the first Black focused, Black centered, and Black mandated food systems organization in Canada. So when we putting this on the internet, I want to make sure people get it right, that this is what it is.
Yes. And you know what are some of the crops that you've grown? Just a range of some of the crops that you've grown and, and provided.
Because we African centered and we want to make sure we grow food that are relative to our community. We make sure we grow things like okra, things like long beans, things like Corilla. But specifically, I could safely say the African Food Basket popularized callaloo in the mainstream community in Canada. Because we grow it, even from gardens, we grow it. And then when we got to the farm, we start to grow it and make sure that we sell it at farmers market. Look, we go at farmers market and the white farmers who come to the countryside, they say, you sell this weed? We said, this weed you calling weed? This is one of the most expensive leaf vegetables in
hearty
stores, and one of the most sweetest.
Yes.
And we make sure we get seeds specifically from Jamaica. So we grow Jamaican callaloo, Koutong, all the varieties.
And there's a variety that I want from you, the red one, the red ribbon one. From is that from Ghana? It's like 20 years. 20,000.
That one from many different places. I can't
need that one.
Wait, you can get that one. But trust me.
Okay.
What I like is the Canadian version. This one is grow wild. It don't look as pretty, but when you sip that one, that wild callaloo from Canada, that is the bomb. That is the real thing for me. If you come to the farm early in the spring, by, let me see, June, July, you can see them growing up all around the place. The Canadian farmers, they call it pigweed, and they don't know the value of it. They just feed the pigs.
And the value is not even about it being expensive. It's about it being nutritious.
That's right. That's right.
And it's rich in the chlorophyll. I wanna tap, and you've shared a lot because I'm just really excited here.
Tap. Get the stories. Get the
Get the stories. Big up yourself, Judea. Big up yourself. And actually, I want you guys, if you want to ask any questions, because we are going to get to a point soon where you can put your questions to Anan in the right-hand corner. Same with Twitter. And then we also have, they can DM, those that are live on the air on the Roots Reggae Hub. We're here with Anan Lololi. And I have, okay, so you've planted the African-focused crops. If you could just, as a teacher of agriculture, if you could just share with us the importance of learning and practicing these essential things, like really the importance of it, because it's an environmental thing. Like we're here to talk about Black food sovereignty. Actually, let's go into that because we only have about a half hour here. So let's go into Black food sovereignty, because that's a term that we think some of us know what it is, but if you could just tell our listeners what that means to you, if you could just draw a picture, illustrate that vision.
Well, Black food sovereignty. Food sovereignty is the right of people to healthy and culturally appropriate foods. Food produced through ecologically sound and sustainable methods, and their right to define their own food and agricultural system. The last sentence is the piece that's really important. We have to define our own food and agricultural system. Now, the first part of that definition is what you call food security. And food security is, a lot of people are more familiar with food security, because food security is a mandate from the United Nations that basically saying everyone in the world should have access to food. People need to have, it's a human right to have access to food. Of recent, we start promoting the concept of Black food sovereignty. We put Black in front of food sovereignty because Black people need to define their own food and agriculture system. Because you know why? Like, people defining us for us, and they're not doing a good job. The reason why I said they're not doing a good job is that in Canada, Black people are 28% of Black people in Canada are food insecure, and only 10% of white people are food insecure. Another important aspect is that a third of Black children in Canada are food insecure. Now, let me say that again.
Say it again.
A third, over 36% of Black children in Canada are food insecure. Now, food insecurity is when you're not having the proper food, you're not consuming the proper food, you don't have money to buy the food, or sometimes you're just eating the wrong type of food. Because as you said earlier, we got to eat the best food, but a lot of us in our community don't have the money to buy the right food, our cultural foods. That's why when you go around low-income communities like Jane and Finch and Malvern and Rexdale and Lawrence Heights, you can find a lot of fast food, a lot of McDonald's, and McDonald's and them food are killing us off, man. Diabetes and stroke and heart attack and all these illnesses that we get in our community. It really comes from the food that we consume.
Yes, absolutely.
And that food is the junk food, because we don't have the money to buy. Look, yam, expensive. I love Jamaican sweet potato. Jamaican sweet potato, I've been purchasing food since 95. And I'm talking about bulk food. I'm talking about cases of food for the African food basket. And Jamaican sweet potato was always the most expensive. And it still is, because it's the best. But we like it. And when we don't have money to buy, look, just to buy a pound of sweet potato, you could get a whole hamburger. You could go and get them, what it's called, wing stores, we get all them junk.
Diabetic fillers.
I like that. Diabetic fillers, you know.
Yes.
It's diabetic, is killer fillers, okay? Because it's food that's killing us, okay? So the concept of food sovereignty now is that Black people we need to step up to the plate. We need to make sure we got more farmers. And I'm glad to see you farming too. I'm glad to see you producing some big Jamaican pumpkin.
Fashion designer's a farmer.
That's right. You know,
it's
an honor to know that, Empress Sharon. So the idea of food sovereignty is that we have a lot of skilled people, because in this city here, Toronto, yeah, this city have the most diverse people of African descent from around the world.
Oh yes.
Over 130 something different people. We're talking about people from Nigeria, Ghana, Ethiopia, Zimbabwe, Mali, Senegal, Jamaica, Trinidad, Guyana, Brazil. We all are here in this city. And among us, we have a lot of people who have good skills, professors in agriculture. But some of these people, because the countryside in Canada is so racist that they don't even know how to navigate going to get the employment that it costs.
It's true.
Like I know a good sister of mine from Somalia, who she was a botanist in Somalia, and then she came here as a refugee. This sister driving a school bus. Imagine that. Imagine you go to university and you study all these years and got all these skills, and then when you come here, you can't get a job. So the idea of food sovereignty is that we can define our way, and we can develop the ways to make sure we farm, make sure we farm organically, and make sure that we start to make sure we have an impact. Because Black people not here in Canada right now, you know, like this recent we here since the 1600s. We had many farms. And I know when we do the real research, we can find out there got to be some kind of ethnic cleansing, because all these farms disappear, all these communities. If you go in the countryside in Ontario, you're going to find some white communities, whether it be Dutch, Portuguese, Scots. You can find all them countryside. If you go and you find out about those tongues in the country, a lot of them have particular European communities, whether it be Irish, you know what I mean? Not it just to come like the Italians, but the older Europeans from the Western side of Europe. But listen to this, people of African descent were here just as long as those folks.
Oh yeah.
Now where are our Black villages? Why we don't have Black villages? Yeah. So the idea of Black food sovereignty is that we can start researching and finding out this information and empowering ourselves to be empowered to produce our own food.
Oh yes, it's important. Even like when you look at places like Owen Sound in Ontario, the Williams family has been there in terms of like African people. But at the same time, I always acknowledge myself as a First Nation person to being indigenous to this planet anyways, you know, at the end of the day, right? But the question is, what happened? You know, what transactions took place? Why, you know, our presence is there. But I also know that too, that even when I went to come out in 2000, it started coming out 2019, but with Carol Brown, but 2020 more so when I went to come out, it was very taboo for me. It was like, you know, oh, farming. I think we sometimes associate farming with slavery and all these things. And we've kind of like separated ourselves from it and became this modern man, this is progress. This is, you know, finance. And I don't know what happened, but something happened.
Let me see if I can help you with that.
Help me.
It's not just modern man. It's white supremacy. Okay, we, and it might sound negative, but we as hills people, we as jungle people, we are accustomed to the natural environment of Africa. Okay, but white supremacy chases us out to the countryside because the countryside is owning land. Okay, and as a people, we went through over 300 years of being enslaved. When you grow up on a plantation, you get up in the morning, okay? You got to go into the fields, and you got to go into the fields till evening, till sundown, and then you come home, you might just eat a little bit, and then you get up. We do that for 300 years, man. After a while, you don't want to see the fields. So psychologically, we don't like to go and farm. But we have to. We don't have no choice. We can't let being enslaved keep us away from farming.
The farmers liberated today.
That's right. And the other thing too, farming is land. And land is power. Yes. We have to have land. We have to maintain land. And more importantly, we have to feed ourselves. We can't have no one else feeding us.
That's what's up.
Because it's only your parents that feed you. So if people feeding us, they're our parents. in Guyana.
Mm.
We have the South Asian community in Guyana feeding black people. And they're our parents if they're doing that. And we have to empower ourselves to feed ourselves. That's very important.
And there's all kinds of levels of supremacy, because as you just touched on Guyana there too, I'm looking at the most recent incident slash, I mean, apart from, I'm not even going to go into the voting because we'll be here till tomorrow, right? But when you look at the flooding that took place in Guyana, our family were without crops for 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
Serious flooding was taking place in Guyana. And then when they received, I can't remember the amount of millions, I should have checked again, but they received so much millions of dollars to, help the farmers, and they passed all the African communities and didn't survey their land and question about cash crops and so forth. So again, this is another supremacy, as you said, it's supremacy in itself. And I'm so upset about this topic, as you already know. So
I know, but I have an interest. I have an interest in Guyana. Right now I work with some folks to set up a Black People African Descent Farmers Association, because when you don't organize, you could get victimized. Yes. You got to organize, and because we're not organized in Guyana, the whole idea of race in Guyana is a very complex situation. I don't even know I could go into it now, but it is in Guyana. People need to have the conversation about race, and in a positive way, because I'm saying sometimes you gotta see the reality of what it is. That's why you gotta do the research and you gotta come to the finance. But I know for sure Black people in Guyana food insecure, and Indian people in Guyana food secure, because they grow the most food. And because we have a continuity. The same thing about slavery. In Guyana, after slavery finished, our grandparents and great grandparents, all they wanted us to do is come to the city and get a city job. Because, as I said, the slavery thing is a psychological thing. And we think that farming is a poor people thing. No, people make millions of dollars for farming. In Toronto alone, it's $17 billion worth of food. So in this country, in this city, a year, 17 billion. Okay, so there's a lot of wealth in food. If you go to the white farmers in this countryside and see the other land, that people have wealth. So we gotta know. So that's why we talking about Black food sovereignty. That's why we introduce the concept of Black food sovereignty, because we gotta own our own land. We gotta farm. We gotta learn to farm, and we gotta farm and produce. Because another thing we need to know, that in Ontario, where we live right now, here Toronto as a city in Ontario, the history of farming in Ontario is European history. So they don't grow our foods. Our foods could grow here. We grow okra. We even grow moringa right here in Canada.
What?
Okay? We grow moringa. We grow moringa right at the Ujama farm at the United States. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. We grow moringa. Okay. We grow them in a hoop house. Okay. You mightn't get the big plants, but you can get the leaves, enough leaves. You can make salad. Okay. So European, when they grow the food within their culture. That's why they don't grow okra. That's why they never know but the value of a callaloo, okay, and lamb beans, So there's lots of foods. Right now, I have a lot of young soldiers who went to Ghana, who bring back seeds from Ghana. Or we after a while, this province can be growing all them kind of food, because Ontario and Toronto is the epicenter of Black people in Canada. That's where everything happening. Toronto.
Yeah. To run to, the place to run to. That's where it comes from. The gathering place.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So I know one of the questions you wanted to ask me is how to grow food organically. Now.
Yes. Well, that's some tips, anyways.
Yeah. The idea of growing food organically and saying it's organic. You could grow food organically, but organic food have a certification process. That's the important part. And the reason why is that anybody can say they're growing organic, because organic is the premium price food. As you know, Organic food is more expensive than conventional. And when I say conventional, the one they grow with all them dirty chemicals that has killed people off and killing off the water, killing off the lakes, and killing off the soil. Organic food is growing food that's regenerative, that you can make sure when you grow it, the soil gonna be healthy, because the most important thing about growing organic food is the soil. As long as you have healthy soil, you have healthy food. So one, all the inputs. When I talk about the inputs, I talk about fertilizer. Fertilizer is not a bad word, you know. Chemical fertilizer is a bad word.
Yeah.
Because organic fertilizer is like using compost, okay, and using other amendments that are naturally good for the soil.
Yes, and you know me, I like
Pesticide is natural. They got natural pesticides. They got chemical pesticides.
yes,
You want to actually use the natural pesticide that won't damage the soil and damage the food in itself, because you don't want eating food with chemical pesticides.
Yes.
Okay, so what you have to do, you have to make sure everything you do while producing the food, you use natural organic amendments.
Yes.
Okay, even when you're storing the food, you can't store the food around foods that grow with chemical components, like food that's
then
sprayed.
it's never going to be organic anymore.
That's
right.
Yeah. Also, when you're beginning the whole process of starting to grow the food, the seedlings, the seeds that you set to grow the seedlings, the small plants,
yes,
they have to be organically produced too.
yes.
So the whole process have to be a natural process where you're using organic amendments and whatever you can use. Even the truck that you're putting the food in, have to make sure that you don't use it for other chemical shipping other chemical. Yeah.
I understand. That makes sense. It's airborne wise, like in that respect.
So when you talk about natural fertilizer, we call it green manure. You can grow some plants. Sometimes it's let me see, what's a good one? You grew clover. You grow these peas. You grow different small plants and you rotate them back into the soil. You call it green manure. Okay, so
that's what I love.
So instead of you growing the chemical fertilizer, you're growing these plants and you till them back in the soil. They're gonna enrich the soil. Okay.
What is that term called again?
Green fertilizer.
Okay, green fertilizer. That's the way that that's the way that I like to do it. Only I don't like the manure.
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely. And I
I'm
know
strictly green.
I see at your Java farm, and I see at McVeigh. Now you doing your thing with your big pumpkin. You know?
Strictly green. No
Strictly
manure.
green. Strictly green.
Yes. So now, and then I like that you mentioned about the soil, because that is the key thing. I mean, you're the expert here. I'm learning from you. I'm learning from all the farmers around me, the soil is critical. I'm curious to know, like, because this is even for myself, because I'm in my second tier with the McVean farming incubator, right? Mm-hmm. However, what are the steps, or what is the education you would recommend to navigate to become a certified organic farmer? Because, and we're going to get into what's happening this weekend a little bit, because what are those steps? You have a background of, what education would you recommend?
For one, I would tell you the biggest university is the internet. YouTube. Okay. There's lots. No. Listen. There's so much information on the internet right now. Like, there's tons of universities that have all that information available for free. As long as you're willing to read the YouTube videos. But as I said before, it's usually you just use the natural amendments. Okay.
But Zola, when I go, when I love going, I'm a farmer's market girl. So when I used to live in Brampton, I'd go to the farmer's market, like from about 2008 time. And I go to Brampton's farmer's market constantly did not have organic farmers, organic certified farmers. Some of them, as you described, that their neighboring farms, even though they planted organic seeds, etc., and even processes, neighboring farms that weren't organic, their soil pretty much didn't allow them to be certified. So, like, how do you position yourself to be a certified? Where I'm at McVean And I know that we are certified practice, but what are those steps to be certified?
But what as I said, the steps to be certified is that for one, you're gonna register with a certifier, okay?
Okay.
And because they have institutions that certify like EcoSort,
Okay.
uh, and some of the other institutions that they are people who their job is to be an organic certifier, and you can sign up with them, and they can make sure they can start from beginning. Where you get the seeds from, what seeds you're producing your seedlings with. Okay. Now, for instance, if you can buy organic seedlings and say you're buying seedlings from in Jamaica, you're buying Carlo seedlings now, you could get away with that if they don't have no local suppliers. So I mean, for instance, you go to Africa and you come up with a specific crop, you could grow it for 3 years because, for instance, you just get land. They want to make sure that you grow on that land for 3 years, and in that 3 years, you're only using organic amendments from the seeds, from your compost, from your green manure, okay, from your pesticide. Everything have to be natural, of a natural origin. That is not that don't have these chemical components.
It's gonna be like gold, eh?
Yeah,
Like certain seeds, like seeds are truly gonna be like gold. I'm seeing these comments that are running down, even though you all are supposed to be putting in the question box, but that's all good. They're talking about like the GMO food. Even I remember when Muta Baruka came down, and we had learned amongst ourselves, and quinkadinkly, a lot of GT people in the house at the university at the time, and we had learned that Guyana was a big hub for GMO foods. What are GMO foods? We had learned some of them are genetically modified from seed. Like this is what people seem to be concerned. Some of them grow the pesticides up so that there's not even like right in up versus just spraying. These are causing like again in Guyana they're looking at autism connected to there's a rave of autism in Guyana connected to the pesticides.
yeah, yeah. It's like that's destroying the world. These conventional pesticides and chemical fertilizers.
There is.
They're now saying, I mean, some of that stuff, like when it run off in the water, you're finding frogs that intersex, that have female organs and male organs. And these people destroying the world, and it's all about money. It's all about these gigantic farms using the whole
And
idea.
they're undereducated.
Yeah, no, it's not uneducated. It's the devil. It's money. It's money.
I'm
Them around.
being nice.
It's money. It's the devil. You know,
Greed. But
the
I'm just
educated, the educated to be greedy. Okay, it's the devil. The devil self in them. Okay, that's why they're doing this wickedness. This is only about money. This is not about health. Okay.
I hear you.
Anyways, that's why they come up with the genetically modified foods, because they want to grow it fast and quick with no pesticide. You must have pests. You just gotta look after them. But they're so greedy in producing the food that they want to make sure they produce the food and it look nice. The food don't gotta look nice. The food gotta be healthy. Okay, we want healthy food. We don't want nice food.
Nice food.
And
Marketable looking food.
that's right. So when they genetically modify the food, I see someone just puts a comment saying that they're producing food that can produce its own pesticide. That is craziness. Okay.
We want food that insect eat. We want food that insect
That's right.
eat too.
That's right. You know what I mean? The Almighty make this creation perfect for I and I. We just gotta live with it.
Perfect. And engage with creation. This is the thing. Because I'm telling you, I never in my wildest dreams would imagine that I'd be picking potato beetles, not the bugs, but potato beetles, so that they won't eat our crop. You know what I mean? And it's a meditation. But this farming food don't actually have to be ugly because we actually tend to it. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you want to see bites on the leaves that, the insects are eating it too. Screw pesticides. You know, it's like there's neem, there's oil.
That's right. As I said, for pesticides, they have natural pesticides. You just call some neem, garlic, pepper itself.
Yeah, pepper. My mom used pepper.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So and then we got things like crab oil. They have so much natural pesticides that we know the tip of the iceberg. And as I said, the most important thing you talk about is, I forget that I wanted to say, the most important thing about organic farming is the health of the soil. Because soil health.
Yes.
Now you feed the soil and you feed those organisms in the soil, you can get the most healthy foods. Now, I know we run out of time. I just want to say one more thing about Black food sovereignty. Right now, Black people food insecure. But food sovereignty, Black people was always food sovereign since the days of Egypt, since the early days. We never want the food. It's only when them devils enslaved us and bring us to this land, then we get food insecure, okay? And they cultivate this whole supremacy doctrine, okay, to keep us enslaved. As I said before, we here since the 1600s. We not just succumb, we there a long time.
From beginning of time, from Alpha.
That's right.
I mean,
we get so much oppression, okay? We had villages in this countryside. So we're getting the young people right now to research, you know, and find out if it was ethnic cleansing and the way they practice anti-Black racism in these places. So we could call it out, you know what I mean? And let's see. But you know what? We need to go into the farming. And I hand on your farm and volunteer. So in the summer, you could come and volunteer. They might get some pumpkin and they might get some callaloo and, you know, might get some onion and some garlic, you know, because we got to learn to work together and do things together. As people of African descent, as Black people, it's important we work together.
it is true.
You know what I mean? I know we don't have a lot of time, but we
good.
Take questions. We could take some questions.
Yes, you guys can, if you put in your questions in the corner, right-hand corner. I know that you guys have had some dialogues. I was trying to engage in a bit about the GMO, but if you want to put a direct questions, put it there. And again, I can't help but stress to collect your seeds, people. Collect your seeds and interact with the food that you have. Does it make you feel good? Does it make you feel energetic?
I know you got a farmer named Jadia who writing a lot of stuff. Big up yourself, Jadia. The person who farming, you know, she been having a conversation after this conversation.
Yes.
Maximum respect.
Yes. We have a question here from Art Avenue. Are any types of beans still natural? Are there any beans that are still natural, Obora?
There's lots of beans are natural, you know what I mean? There's lots of what we call seeds, the seed catalogs. These companies that sell a lot of natural seeds. So you can find a lot of different natural seeds. And then you could also ask your folks to send some seeds for you, because if you get a portion of seeds, you want to make sure you start saving seeds, because seed sovereignty is another important thing.
Yes.
As cultural seeds, you want to make sure you always save your own seeds.
Yeah.
It's how to do.
That's actually a generational thing that my family does. We've been collecting seeds from day. Jamaica has Carol Brown was telling me they had the seed festival, but then the pandemic lick, and so the seed festival, you know, is what it is. But that's something that's practiced in Jamaica, so it's very much in our DNA, that sovereignty. We have a question from Christopher. Thoughts on alkaline water? No, I wonder if you could elaborate. I guess alkaline water in terms of like putting vegetables into your waters. I'm wondering if that's
well, I would say I'm a real verse on alkaline water and farming, but I know the alkaline water from the Zion, from the heavens. That water, they ain't got no better water than that water coming from up there. Because the alkaline, I can't say what type it is, but I know rainwater. None water not better than rainwater. Yeah. That rainwater coming from the heavens. Well, particularly because they have rainwater coming on with acid. They have acid rain.
I know.
Okay. Going back to my band, the Truths and Rights, we had a music called Acid Rain. Acid rain falling from just sky, it's gonna fall on I. You know,
what?
Late 70s, 80s, yeah. Acid rain was falling. That's when they had these it was using a lot of chemicals in these factories and things. The kind of is done right now.
Yeah,
the natural rain. Wow. That is the best for growing food, for sure.
Definitely in Amazon and Guyana, we laugh when we say who water. We don't have the hose. Is
Are there any
rainwater we counting
are
on?
there any natural foods good for eczema? Well, I think I gotta bring out the herbalist and the nutritionist.
Yeah, at that point.
Can't get, but what you want to make sure. I know what you could probably try for eczema. You could try oregano oil. Now it might be hot. You could mix it with things like shea butter, or I know this one it might be difficult to get. This one they call crabwood oil. You get it out of Guyana because you could only get it from the Amazon, crabwood, and then you get it nowhere else in the Caribbean. Caribbean might be able to grow this. These are some huge trees. They call them crabwood trees, and there's a nut from that crab oil.
Oh wow.
Empress, you're familiar with crab oil?
No, I'm
You
like
gotta know
totally
crab
blown.
oil. As GT, you gotta know crab oil.
I'm learning. I know
Crab
I
oil
know
is a general.
what
Crabwood oil. People just
crab
think
wood
crab
oil.
oil, just think it's like crab. No, no, no. It's not no crab. It's the crabwood tree in the
Oh.
Amazon of
When I
Guyana.
heard you say that, I said these idols. So what am I talking about for a moment?
No, no, no,
But
no,
when you
no,
break
no,
down
no.
the tree, you
Wait,
know,
I thought.
wow, crab wood oil,
You
beautiful.
see, with
Guyana has
sacrifice.
everything,
You see,
man.
people also notice this the flags that I didn't know with it.
Yes, yes.
If you mix oregano oil with crabwood oil or mix it with shea butter, that might be good for the eczemas.
Okay. I'm allergic to shea butter because I'm allergic to like latex or rubber tree. However, I would recommend like with eczema too is you can make your own rose water.
Yeah.
Even and you can make a thin solution of aloe by just breaking a bit of aloe and making a similar rose water but of aloe water. Um, as well, you also have rosemary as well. It's just good
Yeah.
as well. So
But,
there's
but,
some
but you know what?
natural.
I know we're coming up to time, and I definitely
Yes,
have to give this event a plug for sure. And that is
yes.
the Youth Black Food Sovereignty Forum that happening on Saturday. I don't know if you could put it up.
Yes.
You know,
So we'll
so
definitely put it up.
it's the International Black Youth Food Sovereignty Forum. It's on Saturday, February 26th, 2022. It's from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. And it's for the young people, but old folks might be able to get in. We want to make sure we bring youths from Canada, Jamaica, US, Ghana, Trinidad, anywhere in the world. You could register and start in having the Black Youth Food Sovereignty conversation. It's very important. For people of African descent, I like to say if young people are involved in something, it's dead. So we want to make sure as much youths come out because we since, as I said earlier, Sharon, since slavery, we have a way of looking down and growing food. But you see, it's very important. We have to grow our own food. We have to have our own restaurants. We have to have our own nutritionists. We have to have everything to do with food.
Yeah.
We have to master that because we have to be the masters of our food system. We have to run everything, everything.
It's urgent.
Because the reason why we don't have is because people don't want us to have. So we have to be intentional and do what we have to do.
I like that you said we have to be intentional and do what we have to do. And there's another question quickly, if we can grab it. It's okay. It's our station. So you can have a few moments over. The person's asked Art Avenue, what can you grow inside the home without garden outdoors? And I know that I participated in some of the workshops that you guys have done. And if
it's on your balcony, if you live in an apartment building, you could grow from callaloo, you could grow garlic, you could grow onion, you could grow long beans, you could grow okra. You could grow corn and all on your balcony. It's just get in the right container, okay? You could grow ganja on your balcony and all if you want. Because if you could grow trees in your backyard, you could grow ganja on your balcony. And it's legal in Canada, you know. It's not no illegal thing, you know.
Four.
If you got your farmers in here, we could grow legal ganja in your backyard, legal ganja. So you could grow things like Scotch bonnet pepper, okay? So you could grow lots of things along and make sure you have good, healthy, organic soil and a good container and you have good water. As I said, the most important thing for growing food is a healthy soil. Invest in good organic soil and everything is good. You put the seed in it and it's good. And you want to make sure you take care of the plant.
Yes, and maintain the soil too, because when you're growing indoors, it's not like that outdoor experience. So you have to maintain the soil from mold or must or blight, or you know what I mean. These things are more challenging sometimes growing indoor, even when you do just the windowsill growing, because you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
go from indoor, not just balcony, but windowsill growing. But you have to also like
yeah.
again, I'm big on the soil, because if the
That's right.
soil
That's
not
right.
good, we don't want for eating.
Yeah, yeah. After having selling, you have to have at least 6 hours of sunlight. That's maximum.
Oh, okay. So
You have to have sunlight,
yeah,
soil, and sunlight,
yes,
and water. These
and
are
the
the,
water.
these are the key components, and then the seed. You know, the seed is the fullness.
So if it's not catching that 6 hours, maybe that's why some people's, because like
They,
I have
they
a
don't get,
big window.
that's right.
The
If you get
big,
6 hours, they don't get the full fullness, but you can
it's not
still
gonna
cook.
grow too much.
Yeah, you can work with what you have because you know it's about survival.
Yes, it's about learning too. You have to learn, like, and that's
That's
one of the things that I admire about you, Zola. I mean, you also teach. You're about teaching and educating, not just here where we in Canada. You teach throughout the the diaspora. You teach in Guyana about the education, and I know we're gonna catch up another day. The truth is, we have to. I see one last question, and we gotta take it, and we gonna run. I
all
talk
right.
in Guyanese now. No one ever heard me talk Guyanese yet. Anyway, let me see. Because I normally speak Patois Jamaican. Anyways, please name and also type and pin the name of the coalition event, please. Yes, my brother.
It,
That's
it's it,
thank you very much, Link Me,
yeah,
Honeybee. Can you
the,
write down?
the International Black Youth Food Sovereignty Forum, Saturday the 26th. There's a link. If you go on the African Food Basket Facebook site, you can see all the information. African Food Basket Facebook link. You can see all the information for the International Black Youth Food Sovereignty Forum. You can see the Eventbrite link. You click on it and you can register.
And the
Because
thing, and we will also once we take down the video, we'll repost it as well as share the link on the Roots Reggae Hub as well.
yeah.
For those of you that
Right. You can have the flyer up there, and people want to register, they can register. Man, it was so beautiful. We even get a chance. I gotta come out here and deal with my music. 'Cause, you know, I'm more of a musician and a food systems person. I always say, my family is music. When you hear
yes,
it out, so I gotta
you
come
can
on a
stay with me a
birthday.
little bit longer. We don't mind.
Well, just run it through some. Let's say the people hear my early work with with the music in this city. And
Yes.
as I said, big up. I know Carl Brown still on. Carl Brown
Yeah,
must.
man. Carol Brown, big up
Carl Brown,
yourself.
big up yourself. I know
I
she's
was all
still
gonna link
listening.
her today because I was trying to find the music, the truth and rights. There's the one, no problem. What is it? What is a few?
Metro number one problem. There's a music that I composed that one for the band. It was a big hit, and it have a ska feeling. But take it for what it is. Listen to music, listen to lyrics. You
Okay.
know.
Want to skip down a bit, Shanna? Maybe because we might skip down just a little bit, just because when you're on the IG live, if you
Mm-hmm.
play it out more than 30 seconds, then we'll have to,
Okay,
keep it.
okay. Let's
So
get it.
we're gonna run the tracks after, but at the same
Okay,
time, we're gonna give them a little snippet, a little taste, and you're
okay.
listening to Anan Truths and Rights on
Because
the
it's
Roots
because
Reggae
the
Hub.
radio, I have come on. I know this is food time. I have come on and talk with music because I still a musician. I still looking forward to do my recording. I have one called was it Leave My Food Alone? You better leave my food alone, Lord. They're killing we. They're killing we, yes, they're killing we. Chemical fertilization, they come for destroy the nation. Genetically modification, fire burn.
What? So this is magical because I see how everything is just full circle with your music, your
That's
movement, your
right.
liberty. This is your liberty.
That's my liberty. And right now, as I retire from being the executive director of the African Food Basket, I have time to go back into the music. You know, I have tons of music. I would say I have hundreds of music. I'm just looking for the time to get to play some of the music, even with my
Oh, it's full
definitely.
joy, full joy. We're gonna
Yeah,
play some of that lovely music, and we're looking forward to hearing more of your music. You have to come back, you know. You have
I
to come
will
back
come
and
back.
reason. We're gonna reason more about the music, but
I'm
I'm
like,
so excited about the conference that's taking place this weekend on Saturday, the 26th, with the Black Youth Food Sovereignty Forum. And this is again from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. EST. Again, it's open to Jamaica, Canada, USA, Ghana, Trinidad, St. Vincent, anywhere you guys can join in. And again, the link is going to we're going to post the link on the Roots Reggae Hub Instagram, Facebook, for you guys to be able to register. And again, we're encouraging the youth to come out there. Come out.
One thing I like to big up one person. I know he's probably still listening.
Yes.
The African Food Basket, Sherwin Blyden. I like to call him the comrade leader. Big up yourself, Sherwin.
Yes.
Much respect and much thanks. Serving a very important cause. Maximum respect.
Maximum.
Big up yourself, Zakaya Tafari, the interim executive director of the African Food Basket. Maximum respect.
Yes, continue, because you're doing the shout outs.
Big up Tafari, also the manager of the warehouse and also the founder of the African Food Basket. Our farm manager, Rafa, Sekou, Sheldamar, Winston Husbands, and Phillips, Ashanti, Nicole, you name them. A lot of
Garlic Collective.
Garlic Collective, you know, the soldiers on the farm. I must say, yes. People like Clifton Joseph and Tresan. Tresan is the master farmer. You gotta get Tresan on the show, you know.
Yes.
Come and do something.
Some good music too. He has some really good music too.
What do you mean if you have some music?
I know he does. He's
a general, man. He's a general. You gotta bring you on this show here.
For real.
You know? Definitely. I know he's with human rights, but you want to bring on human rights, or you want to bring on Tresan for sure.
Yes.
People like Stacy.
Yes.
Mawana Juma, who's in Trinidad. I know I forget some names and get myself in trouble, but big up to all the African Food Basket people. Much respect. And the whole working group of the Black Food Sovereignty Work Group of Toronto, honor and respect every time. And Empress Sharon, I'm going to dash you the lady, Empress Sharon.
Empress Empress.
Exactly. The lady.
Thank you. And maximum respect to you. Sound the alarm.
Harvest time. Whoa.
Harvest time is here again. I can't wait. I'm like, my head is already in March and April, you know?
Well,
all the little seedlings, planting them.
I would love to come out here to encourage people to come to the farm and come to your farm. And I'm gonna tell you something.
Yes.
I'm gonna be at McVean this year, you know.
Okay.
I'm gonna be at McVean this year. I'm gonna get into that. As I said, I retired. I can be sometimes at Black Creek, but I'm gonna be officially at McVean. A brethren of mine, comrade leader Sherwin.
Sherwin and them are there, yes, and Rafa.
Yes. And I'm gonna be planting my own little personal plant.
There you go. I hear you.
A retirement
plant. I'm gonna run into you're gonna run into me.
Yeah, sure. I can get some of that pumpkin. I ain't gonna grow pumpkin because I know I'll get my pumpkin.
Trust me, I have to narrow my list, but I don't really want to narrow my list because I'm adding new things.
I hope you start planting them pumpkin seedlings from now, eh?
No, March. March we start. We do the seed.
Okay, early March.
Early March.
The bigger the plants when you come outside in May, the better for you.
And they get more sunshine too. The earlier, the better. The more sunshine they get. That's what I learned from the pumpkins last year because they got into November, you know. And I was lucky. I was lucky the weather was good, but lots of rain, but not enough sun.
I give thanks for being here.
Yes.
Folks who running this IG, I love this.
Yes, Roots Reggae Hub.
To be here and share these vibes, especially on this Black History Month.
Yes.
Maximum respect to all the folks involved in the production here.
Enough respect to you in your journey, and I do thank you for making a decision to follow your vision, Zola. Mad respect.
Man, I love this. I love serving my people, you know, and I love the love that I get from doing this work. You know what I mean? I know my grandchildren in Guyana not wrong, but I shout out to them. You know, my daughter Malika. You know, shout out to her. You know, my grandchildren who are here, Kainia and Kainia and well, I get myself in trouble. Kainia and Nyasha. Much respect.
Oh, you have a Nyasha?
Nayash, Daddy, Zakaya, and Mommy. As I get old, I know and get big fire because I forget.
Oh, you started it.
But you know what?
You go.
Age is
you
age.
sound like you're going to go down to the whole genome map.
Yes.
Tell them, say you couldn't tell Babylon everything, you know.
That's a good one.
It's bad.
Because some people don't like to get shout out to the business, you know.
Oh
but
yeah.
you know,
Oh yeah.
I give thanks, man. And one more time,
Yes.
big up to my sister in Carlbrown. I know she's around.
Yes, big up. One love, one love.
Yes.
It's your host, Lady Sharon, our Empress Sharon, signing out. But Anan, Zola, Lololi, one
Give
love.
thanks. Give thanks. Give thanks.
Namaste.
Special request to all the people of African descent in the streets.
Okay, let's stop.
Can solve these problems. Oh, child, be true to yourself first. Oh, child, we are a part of this creation and not meant to be misused. Any longer, no, you will say. Any longer, no, you would be sad. Time for us to unite. Time for us to unite.
Yes, black people must unite. One love.
Brothers and sisters all over the world. Time for us to unite. Time for us to unite. Time for us to unite. Brothers and sisters all over the world.
And in the interest of it not being the video getting cut down, Anan, I really wanted to talk to you about the International Decade of the African People. But as you can see, I'm wearing my little Guyana flag, one button there that they give to me when.
That's right. Actually,
and
I'm involved in the Economic Development Committee of that Ep.2.
You serious?
Yes, and we're talking about a lot of the conversations about food and growing food. It's one of the most engaged international decade of people international decade of people of African descent groups in the world, and they're doing some great work. We can be holding conversations about. We got a couple more years. Hopefully, we can come with some ideas and work that can be a legacy piece for people of African descent in Guyana.
Yes, respect and all worldwide.
Definitely.
Okay.
Empress Sharon, give thanks.
Give thanks. One love.